All right, man. Cavs getting national attention. Let's see what they're saying about the Cavs and if people are actually paying the attention they say they are to the Cavs, or are they just giving us some lip service? Let's listen into TNT.
Cavs now 40-0 when they take a lead to the fourth quarter.
Wow.
And,
they got the lead. They shouldn't even play the last quarter, according to you.
DeAndre Hunter tonight, off the bench, 9 points on 3 of 10 shooting. But 43% shooting for Cleveland, and they win again, and they've won 5 in a row and 9 of their last 10. He's talking about Cleveland over Boston. Yeah, I know Boston's got the chip, but what do you make of his assessment of the Cavs?
Cleveland is definitely playing well. They haven't done it in the postseason yet. Hopefully this is their year to get it done. I think Boston has that experience. Boston, others play well. The only missing piece for Cleveland, not really a missing piece because Donovan has been playing well. I'm very happy for him and proud of him. But if he has any slippage, Cleveland can be beat. Boston has 1 or 2 guys that can have slippage, but the others can step up. Porzingis, we haven't really talked about him. He can have big nights. They have a lot. Wright can have big nights. But Cleveland, they're playing well. I'm just worried about them in the postseason.
And wouldn't you say though, as teams?
Wait.
What? The Cavs, correct me if I'm wrong, right? Like, because the take is that if Donovan Mitchell has, like, this whole thing is on the back of Donovan Mitchell, if he has slipping, maybe I'm misinterpreting what Shaq is saying. But if I'm going off that assumption, right, which seems like what he was going for, there are multiple examples of Donovan Mitchell. I mean, stretches of the season where Donovan Mitchell was not having the best run of his season, was not shooting well, and the Cavs were able to win a bunch of games pretty easily too. I think the strength of this Cavs team is that it's not overly reliant on Donovan Mitchell like it was in 2023 when he was first here, or in 2024 last year. I think that's the strength of this team. I don't understand this take. I don't get what Shaq is saying here about that, because if Donovan's not having a great game, you still got Darius. That's a huge reason why he's here. You have Evan Mobley, who's another guy who can create and get you 30. The same way that the Boston Celtics have that. Now, do you want to argue if what the Celtics have is a better option than what the Cavs have? Yeah, it's a more tried, true, tested veteran group. Kristaps is more of a lock to get 30 a night if he needs to than Evan Mobley is. Jason Tatum's more of a lock than Donovan Mitchell to get 30 a night than, and then Jaylen Brown, probably more of a lock to get it versus Darius Garland. But to act like if the Cavs don't get that scoring from Donovan Mitchell, that's it for them. And then that means that they can be beat. I mean, the same can be said for the Boston Celtics, who have been beat on nights where one of their stars didn't play that well. So, yeah, I don't buy this as a reason why the Cavs can't get out of the East or beat the Boston Celtics. And again, man, the way that people talk about Boston, you would swear this is a more accomplished group than what they are.
Look at the playoff picture. They'd probably rather avoid Boston than Cleveland.
I disagree. First of all, what we were talking about earlier, there's certain games you look at. I thought it was interesting when Boston went into Cleveland and beat them. They made the trade a couple days later. They're like, that's the team we got to beat.
And this is a piece we need.
This is a piece we need. So that I think they like their GM. I think his name Kobe, right?
Altman.
Kobe, yes. I was like, you know what? We need another wing if we're gonna beat the Celtics. I love them going out being aggressive. Listen, they've had the best record in the NBA all year. It doesn't do you any good to have the best record. You have to say, that's the team we're gonna have to beat. And the Celtics are the team to beat. I love what Cleveland's done, and we got the Eastern Conference this year?
Yes, yeah, we do.
We going back to Cleveland. Get them Guardians tickets ready.
All right, Chuck, question. Does Donovan...
So Chuck's saying that, he thinks the Cavs are as good as a bet to come out the East than anybody else, especially now that they made a move for the wing. And yeah, that obviously the move for the wing is to help you versus a team like Boston. And, this is why I have this weird balance of respect. Because, again, I think Boston is pretty much a lock to get to the Eastern Conference Finals. And if the Cavs want to get to the NBA Finals, they do have to go through Boston. And, Boston's not going to be an easy team to beat by any stretch of the imagination. But they are beatable, right? One of the things that Boston does a lot of is take bad shots. And if you are a team that can force Boston into enough bad shots, you can force them into a bad series. This is not an unheard of prophecy that a underpowered team could go in there and beat Boston. We saw the Miami Heat do this with Jimmy Butler. We saw them almost do it again the year after, right? And those teams weren't on the same level of firepower that the Boston Celtics have had. Now, to be fair to Boston, they did add Kristaps, which changes the dynamic of the team a little bit, but still, the same principle applies. It's not an unbeatable basketball team, but you do have to have some pieces to give you a chance. And what I talked about in one of my videos about this Cavs-Boston potential series is rebounding has mattered in every single game that these teams have played. And in every game that the Cavs and Celtics have played so far, there has been a stretch where the rebounding advantage was overwhelmingly in favor for Boston. And that led to these giant runs that Boston would take to get up 10, 15, 20 points here, right? That is what the Cavs need to avoid. No, we're not asking DeAndre Hunter to go up there and lock down and put the clamps on Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown. That is not what anybody's expectation is. But what I do think the Cavs hope is that they're able to still play really solid perimeter defense against the Boston Celtics while also being able to maintain their ability to rebound so they don't get out-rebounded by the Boston Celtics. What the Celtics do is switch your bigs onto the perimeter, leave you really small down low, and since they got really big guards, they can go out and rebound with those guards and really take advantage of a team's lack of length. Now that the Cavs have excess length to deal with on that defensive floor, it changes the dynamic of how Boston's going to have to play against them, because if the Cavs are able to rebound at a normal clip, these games become toss-ups no matter how well the Cavs play, no matter how well Boston plays, because these teams are much closer than I think people want to give them credit for. No. Are the Cavs more talented than the Boston Celtics? No. But the Cavs do have some pieces that can make the Boston Celtics night a little bit more difficult than most teams, because especially if they have a wing on the roster that can put the pieces in the right place. And I think that's important, right? We just saw a lineup with both DeAndre Hunter and Dean Wade on the floor at the same time. That's going to be important that these guys are healthy when the Cavs play the Celtics, because that's going to be a lineup that they almost certainly go to against Boston, especially with Evan Mobley on the floor. So it's going to make things very interesting to see. Let's listen further to see what
Shaq says in response to Chuck saying the Cavs are going to these.
Have to play great, or can he play good for them to beat the Celtics?
Donovan's going to have to play great. When you are, and we talk about this a lot when we're doing March Madness, people make basketball too hard.
What is Shaq's obsession with Donovan Mitchell having to play great? We just went through a stretch, right, of Donovan Mitchell not playing great. The Cavs still winning a ton of basketball. And again, there's no shade to Donovan Mitchell. It's just Donovan Mitchell is not expected to carry the team like he used to. That's the whole part of what Kenny Atkinson's bringing to this team and why Kenny Atkinson has improved the team so greatly.
Your best players have to play the best. That's why I said I don't think he can have
any slippage.
Donovan Mitchell is the best player on the Cavs. That is the responsibility when you're a star. He has to play well. Yeah.
Wait. Is he insinuating
well
that the
translated.
Cavs can get beat by anybody? If Donovan Mitchell has, you're tripping. You are absolutely tripping. But if Donovan Mitchell scores 12 points, we can get beat in the first round? Stop it.
He has to score this many, or can the way he's played this game this year, where he stepped back a little bit?
You can't. Yeah, but there's gonna be points in games where you are the man.
Right.
He likes Mobley. I love Mobley too. I like Allen. They got Hunter. They got Garland. But your best player has to play well.
Yeah, I would agree with all of that. But at the end of the day, this is one of the things that I look at Boston It's a phrase that we used to throw around.
It is so interesting to see, right? Because I don't think, because these guys are used to having to talk about 3 or 4 teams, and Cleveland was not one of these teams that they were expecting to have to talk about. Every time they have to talk about the Cavs and not the other team that you're comparing the Cavs to, it feels like it catches these people like flat-footed. Like we see this with the ESPN crews and now with the TNT crews, where it's like any conversation about the Cavs feels so improvised because it feels like they're getting caught flat-footed, because they are, right? Because they have not spent the last 4 months doing the work of like really understanding what the Cavs bring to the table and being able to have an in-depth conversation. So what they have to do to crutch that conversation is wrap that conversation about the Cavs in something they're familiar with, which is Boston. But it's obvious when you do that to a trained ear, because you're saying stuff about the Cavs that like aren't real questions about the Cavs right now. Like if Donovan Mitchell has slippage, what happens to the Cavs? Brother, ain't nobody worried about that right now. Like we've lived through Donovan Mitchell slippage and we've been fine throughout the season with Donovan Mitchell. It's not been anything anybody wants to, like the things that Cavs fans want to talk about is like, why don't we have a backup big? Or, do we have enough wings to keep up with Boston? But like this stuff, Donovan Mitchell having slippage, it feels like they ran out of stuff that they know to talk about now that the Cavs have a wing. So that talking point's not there. And it's like they're flat-footed because they don't want to say the Cavs can be a legitimate threat. Well, Chuck does, but some people don't want to. Shaq doesn't want to say the Cavs can be a legitimate threat to the Celtics, but they don't really have a reason why that can't be the case.
Or at least Shaq
A lot
does.
is like, yeah, you can beat us, but you can't beat us 4 games out of 7. And I think the Boston Celtics, can you say for 4 games out of 7, we're going to be able to stop you from doing what you do best? And the other way I look at series is if Cleveland's playing their best and Boston's playing their best, not if they stop each other, they're playing their best, who's a better team? And I would have to lean to the Celtics because of championship experience, coaching experience at that level right now, and also personnel. Those guys, their 2 best players can be the 2 best players on the floor most nights in that series.
And the reason why I brought up slippage, if we were there at the finals, Tatum didn't have his best finals. So Brown stepped up and became the finals MVP. I don't think Cleveland.
But I think Ken Atkinson's a better coach.
I don't know, man. Y'all let me know what y'all think in the comment section down below. Y'all have a great day. Have a better night. Peace.